5-year-old Carter Brischler has always been a daredevil. But just before this video was taken in August 2015, Carter was diagnosed with a disease that has left him without the ability to see, hear, eat, speak, or even move on his own. It all started with what his parents Stacy and George thought was a lazy eye.
It was just like venturing out to the outside and then coming like quickly back, and I'm like
it was going out of focus briefly.
Carter was fitted for glasses, but the problem only got worse. Stacy and George knew something was wrong when he started becoming disoriented.
He would be running and then stop and go like, we're like, buddy, go get your brother. And he'd be like, where? We're like, right there.
After several doctor's visits and no answer, Stacy took Carter to a local hospital near their home in Port Jervis, New York. At first, doctors were dismissive when Stacy asked them to scan her son's head.
So they finally did it, and then that same doctor at 1 o'clock in the morning had to come to me and say, there's an abnormality in your son's brain.
Carter was sent to Westchester Medical Center for testing. In January, Dr. David Cron finally diagnosed Carter with adrenoleukodystrophy, or ALD.
It's a progressive disease which causes damage, ongoing damage to the white matter of the brain.
The disease is linked to the X chromosome, so mothers are carriers, but it mainly affects boys. Symptoms usually start to show between the ages of 3 and 8.
It could be a picture of ADHD in a child, or difficulty walking, difficulty with vision, sometimes difficulty with hearing. They may have skin color changes, and they may have difficulty fighting infections.
While there's no cure for ALD, there are ways to monitor and treat the disease if it's found early enough.
When patients are symptomatic, it's generally a little bit too late to do anything which is really effective. So nowadays, if we can find patients in the pre-symptomatic phase of the disorder, then there's a good chances of success with bone marrow transplant.
Carter was not a good candidate for a transplant because of the advanced stage of his disease. But advocates are pushing for ALD testing to become part of a regular newborn screening. New York is currently the only state testing for the disease, but it began 2 years after Carter was born.
You have kids to watch them grow and to play sports and build relationships, friends, get married, have kids, life. You have kids for them to live.
ALD is almost always fatal within 1 to 10 years after diagnosis. For now, the Brischlers are just trying to make every day count. You can follow Carter's story at facebook.com/Courage for Carter. I'm Dr. Manny, Fox News.